Operations are in full force, commencing last night at about 11:54. We will provide a certain amount of information so that the residents and those affected will be able to obtain that information. As you know, this is a fairly diverse area, and we have a large number of people who speak Spanish here. So I want the first part of this and intermittent with part of the discussion today would be some Spanish language information provided for our residents. Roberto?
Pues solo queremos extender nuestras oraciones a las familias que pasaron esta tragedia y llamar a la comunidad que siga apoyando. Vamos a tener mucha más información en lo que el día va y vamos a tener una lista comprensiva de todas las agencias que están dispuestas a ayudar y cómo nuestra comunidad puede ayudar en detalle. Esa lista estará pronto para todos en español y en inglés.
I know that it's pretty warm and we do not want to hold this news conference up too long. I want to provide a certain amount of information so that our residents and the community is well informed about what had transpired last night and what efforts will be taken through the next few days in order to get people back in place safe and secure. And so we're going to do this in an order that provides that information. So I apologize for the interruption in terms of the various speakers that will come forward, but we want to get the information out to our residents. As indicated before, our units arrived on the scene shortly after the call last night at 11:54. We've had a host of units to come, over 125 three-alarm fire to respond to this particular tragedy. I know there's information that's out about how many affected. We have at this point in time 30 that were taken to area hospitals. We have 3 fire personnel who were injured, and we have a number of personnel who are missing. We cannot confirm at this point in time the number because that number continues to vary. We're not certain whether or not that number includes people who are not here on the scene or people who may be affected by the fire. As soon as we get that information, we'll provide that information for you. We are certain that the response was quick, it was rapid. We are certain that we have responded in a way that responds to the challenge that we see here today. There have been a number of allegations about what happened. We will hear that from our fire rescue personnel in a few minutes. We'll note very clearly what we believe we know in terms of information and what we are still investigating. I will not go through all of the detail of information that I have. It will come out in the various forms of other people who will be speaking to you today. I want to get us through this quickly because of the heat, and I want to get the information as quickly as possible to our residents. So I'm now going to call up Councilmember Navarro to come forward, Councilmember Hucker just to say a word or two, and we'll proceed immediately from there.
I want to come and express my extreme pain and condolence to all the families that have been displaced, as well as those who are deceased, their families. We are here in solidarity as the members of the County Council to make sure that the community understands that we are working very hard to mobilize all the resources that we have to assist to get to the bottom of this. I want to thank our fire and rescue folks who have been working diligently to make sure that everything is structurally sound before they finish all of their work and have done amazing work since last night. For the Latino community, I want to say in Spanish, estamos aquí con mucho dolor. Realmente queremos darle todo el tipo de pésame a aquellos fallecidos, a las familias que están damnificadas. Vamos a hacer todo lo posible por darle los recursos necesarios para apoyarlos, pero sobre todo quiero que sepan que hemos escuchado muchas opiniones y muchas quejas de lo que ha pasado aquí y quizás esté pasando en otros edificios. Y eso lo vamos a asegurarnos que eso lo vamos a investigar, que vamos a seguir respondiendo. Por ahora lo más importante es apoyar a estas familias, lo más importante es recibir todo el tipo de asistencia necesaria. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí, and I hope to not have to repeat anything like this ever again here in our county.
Good morning, my name is Tom Hucker. I represent Silver Spring, this area on the Montgomery County Council, and live here in Long Branch, about 6 blocks north of here. I was awake last night at midnight when I heard the explosion and came down here My heart's really, like everyone, and goes out to the affected families, my constituents that have really been dealt a very severe blow last night. If you know this community, you know this is a community that has a lot of challenges on a good day. These are people that don't have a whole lot materially for all the hard work that they put into our county. I want to thank our first responders and the county executive and the agency department heads for a terrific response last night. One of the only silver linings you see in a time like this is the tremendous level of preparation and coordination shown by our first responders last night, especially the Emergency Management Director Stoddard, Fire Chief Scott Goldstein, Captain DeVideo of the Montgomery County Police Department. And the other thing that I want people to appreciate is we had an apartment fire near here last year, and we're seeing already what we saw then, which is this is such a generous and giving and supportive community. My phone's been blowing up. My office, people keep calling my office and other county agencies to find out how they can help, how they can make cash donations, how they can volunteer, and how they can even put families up in their homes. That's the kind of community that this is. It's very, very resilient despite other challenges, and we're going to continue to work 24/7 through my office with all the county agencies to make sure people get all the relief that is coming to them. Thank you.
Let me also indicate that I've talked to Governor Hogan prior to my arrival here this morning, and he's offered to assist us in whatever way possible. This has been a very challenging time for our state. We have large numbers of state and county resources that are deployed in Howard County because of the the flood that occurred last week, and we have large numbers of units who are here. Let me thank our Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services, the ATF agents, Maryland State Fire Marshal's Office, Ride On, our Health and Human Services, and a variety of police department as well, all coming together to try to respond to this very real challenge. Let's come forward to the next person here.
Thank you, Mr. Leggett. David Steckel, I'm a division chief with Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service. We received a call slightly before midnight and arrived shortly before midnight last night for a fire in this apartment building. Firefighters responded. We were met with heavy fire conditions and multiple rescues to be made. They went to work, did in fact make multiple rescues, and transported 31 people to the hospital, in addition to 3 firefighters that received minor injuries that were transported to hospitals. Information on the 3 firefighters is that they had suffered minor injuries and they've all been treated and released. As of now, our goal is to make the building safe. It's a collapse hazard and it's in an extremely dangerous condition. So we're in the process of making the building safe so that our operations can continue and so that the investigation can progress. Thank you.
Assistant Chief Hamill.
Good afternoon. On Wednesday, August 10th at approximately 11:52 p.m., an off-duty Montgomery County police officer was alerted to an explosion and a fire located at the residence apartments behind me. He immediately contacted our emergency communications center, and he and other officers from our department and the Tacoma Park Police Department began rescue efforts and administering first aid. They were soon assisted by Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service, who responded in force after being notified. As a result of these joint efforts, 34 individuals were taken to local hospitals, including 3 firefighters who have been treated and released as of this morning. Subsequent investigation of the premises has resulted in the identification of 2 decedents located within the ruins of the building. We have not identified these victims at this time, and our efforts will continue in that area. As a result of this discovery, this scene and event will now be handled as a death investigation by our department and our partner agencies. We are in the process of identifying and locating all residents of the building, and we are asking for anyone with such information to please contact us immediately on the Montgomery County 311 line. If you live out of the county and have information to supply us, you would call 240-777-0311.
Eso es crítico para que todos sepan que estamos tratando de contactar a todos los que vivían en esos apartamentos y que por favor llamen al 311 al 311. El número completo fuera 240-777-0311 para más información y contactar otras personas que piensen que pudieran haber estado en esta situación anoche.
Thank you. Our 311 system has been set up to handle the information coming in, collate it, and immediately get it to our investigators. As I said, we're in the very preliminary stages of this investigation, but we still believe some people have been unaccounted for, so we're requesting the community's assistance with this matter as well. As I said, we're still early in this. We are not prepared to discuss at this time any causes of this incident. We will conduct a thorough investigation into this tragedy, and we ask anyone with any information regarding the tragedy to please contact us as well at the same numbers, the 311 system that's been established. We'll be conducting this joint investigation with our partners from Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services, Fire and Explosive Investigations Unit, as well as the ATF. But still, the information should come in through the 311 system, and all investigators will work that information together. I do want to take a moment.
Si tiene alguna información sobre esta tragedia que pudiera ayudarnos a determinar la causa, por favor, el teléfono es simple, 311. Llámenos para informarnos. Gracias.
Finally, I do want to take this moment and thank our county, our local, our state, our federal, and our private sector partners such as the Red Cross, as well as the community, not just around where we're standing, but the entire community of Montgomery County. Everybody has been such a great assistance today, and we're going to need your assistance in the days to come as we work through this tragic event together.
Homeland Security.
Good morning. So the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security arrived on scene soon after the calls for service were issued for our public safety responders. It was evident immediately that this was the kind of response that was going to require a multidisciplinary, multi-partner coordination effort. So the role that we play in this response is to provide the logistics support in the background to our public safety partners and to coordinate the efforts of our non-public safety partners in providing a cohesive response to this particular event. It's really important to realize that the response to this event is just the beginning. This community has an extended recovery period that will begin immediately and will require the engagement of a number of community partners, nonprofit agencies, and private businesses and residents. We've already seen, as others have referenced, a huge outpouring of support from our residents. We welcome that, and we want you to remember that this is going to be a long recovery. We want you all to sustain that level of support for your fellow residents for the duration of this recovery. Thank you.
Uma Alwalia.
Para aclarar un segundito, a los que llamen a 311, toda información es anónima. No necesitan dar su nombre, no necesitan decir más nada. Lo que estamos buscando es información y la información se va a usar exclusivamente para la investigación. No tienen que dar su nombre cuando llamen al 311.
So good morning, everyone. The shelter was set up last night in partnership with the Red Cross. The shelter is at the Long Branch Community Center. This morning, over 100 people received breakfast over there. We are continuing to process them at our test center, which is across the street in Long Branch, for benefits, any benefits that anybody would be eligible for. And I really want to stress that people should not be afraid to come. If there are multiple households living in a unit, every single one of them is eligible for support and assistance for relocation.
Quisiéramos aclarar que tenemos el centro de recreación de Long Branch, que queda ahí mismito al lado, en el otro lado de la biblioteca, el puentecito. Del otro lado está el centro de recreación de Long Branch. Este centro lo hemos establecido como un centro de emergencia y le pedimos a toda familia que necesite ayuda, sin preocuparse de dar nombre ni detalles. Si necesita ayuda, por favor, vengan y déjenos ayudarles. Y también tenemos el Test Center, el centro Test, que queda al frente de donde estamos para también proveer ayuda. Pero es crítico saber que esto lo hacemos sin preguntar nada de detalles personales. Por favor, vengan para compartir y dejarnos ayudarle.
We also have bilingual staff in Spanish and Amharic, so everybody should feel free to come, and there will be language access on site. I also want to say that there are people who have lost their medications and don't have a way to get to their doctors right away. So there is a clinic, the CASA clinic, right across the street at 8615 Piney Branch Road. Is taking walk-ins, as is the Mary Center, which is just down the street across from the test center. So both of those locations, which is at 8709 Flower Avenue, both of those locations are available for providing ad hoc medical treatment for anybody who doesn't have their medications or have been discharged from the hospital and need follow-up care. Go ahead. Here.
Para las personas que necesiten medicina inmediatamente, que las perdieron, no sabe dónde están, por favor, tenemos un local para que puedan y ahí recuperar y tener la medicina y la atención médica que necesiten, ¿ok? Y lo tenemos en el Mary Center, 8709 Flower Avenue, y aquí en el centro 8615 Piney Branch, el centro comunitario de Pine Ridge, ¿ok? Ahí pueden ir y sin pregunta ninguna, porque es crítico, si le falta alguna medicina que necesite, inmediatamente ahí la tenemos y lo podemos ayudar sin pregunta ninguna individual.
All right. The other thing I want to tell everybody is please do not bring donations to the Long Branch Community Center. We are very shortly going to be putting out a list of 5 or 6 nonprofit organizations who are better equipped to take the donations, whether they are cash or furniture or bed sheets and blankets and everything else. Do not bring food donations either to the Long Branch Community Center. We have no way of accepting it. The Red Cross is taking care of it. I want to thank everybody for the generosity and to please direct your contributions to the nonprofit organizations. We'll be putting that list out in English and Spanish very shortly.
Y solo para brevemente de repetir que hay muchas organizaciones que se han ofrecido ayudar y por favor no traigan contribuciones en estos momentos al centro de Long Branch, sino que en las próximas horas vamos a establecer una lista comprensiva de todas las organizaciones y cómo ayudar con comida, cómo ayudar con dinero, y todo esto va a estar disponible en inglés y en español en las pocas horas.
Also, please don't come to the center to volunteer. We have lots and lots of volunteers already now. We will put out an official call for additional volunteers because remember, as everybody said, this is just the beginning. We're going to need your commitment over several days, so stagger your support, and we will let you know as we need you. One more thing.
Solo que para los que quieren voluntarizarse, y gracias a Dios que tenemos tantas personas en la comunidad que quieren voluntarizarse, en este momento es preferible no venir al centro de Long Branch para voluntarizarse, sino mantener esta energía para en los días y semanas que vienen trabajando con los grupos sin fin de lucro para así coordinar mejor y ayudar a nuestra comunidad más máximo.
So our public information officer, Mary Anderson, her cell phone number is 301-529, everybody has it now, 7769.
No, that's wrong. 7669.
7669.
I have a copy of the list, so if you come see me, I can forward you the email that has that list. We'll get the Spanish version shortly.
Okay, and then the last thing I would say is for those individuals who may have missing relatives, I know that you were told to call 311. You can also walk in to the Rolling Terrace Elementary School where we've set up a reunification center, and people can come over there in person and also try to get matched.
Rolling Terrace Elementary, el colegio, ahí tenemos un centro para las personas que piensan que que se han desconectado con alguien y no saben, es como una reunificación familiar en el colegio de Rolling Terrace. Por favor, vengan por ahí y ahí le podemos dar más información.
You have the address for Bayfield. Never mind. Thank you.
You're from the American Red Cross?
Good afternoon, folks. Paul Carden, Regional Disaster Officer, American Red Cross. Red Cross volunteers arrived early this morning from throughout the National Capital Region. We have been working with our government partners and nonprofits. Our first effort was to establish a shelter where the residents could go, have a place to sleep, get a meal, connect with friends and families. We're now going to move into what we call our individual assistance phase, where we'll be meeting individually with folks, providing information, referral, financial assistance, so that they can begin the road to recovery. We are working in partnership with the county government and with other nonprofits, and our goal is all to work together and create a seamless program of support. This is going to be a very, very long, difficult recovery for these families. The Red Cross and our partners are ready to stand by. We've also been supporting firefighters and other emergency workers with meals, water, and things of that nature. Thank you.
Thank you.